Welcome back. Today we're diving into something that is incredibly practical and literally a game changer if you're looking to build a business. It's called the TripleE Enterprise Activation Blueprint. Now, right off the bat, I know the word blueprint might make you think of some dry, dusty administrative form that you fill out and just stuff in a drawer somewhere. Well, scratch that. This is actually a highly dynamic, strategic roadmap that is explicitly designed to help you activate a thriving, structured enterprise.
So, let's kick things off with a question that pretty much every creator, builder, or dreamer hits at some point. How exactly do you turn a raw skill into a structured, funding-ready business? It's like a giant puzzle, isn't it? You've got the talent, you've got the drive, but how do you actually organize all of that? Well, this explainer is going to be your absolute ultimate guide to charting out that exact entrepreneurial journey using the TripleE framework.
To get us there, we'll be following a really clean 4-phase roadmap. We've got 1, the foundation, 2, the market, 3, the engine, and finally, 4, the destination. Let's get right into it.
All right, starting right at the beginning with phase 1, the foundation.
Before you can build outward, you've really got to look inward. So section 1 is all about the entrepreneur profile. You need to take a step back and honestly assess your current status. Are you an artisan, a student, a recent grad, or hey, maybe you already have a business running? You also need to pin down your current monthly income tier. Like, is it below 50,000 Naira or is it above 500,000 Naira? It's really about knowing exactly where you stand right now so you can actually map out where you're headed tomorrow.
And that kind of self-reflection leads us right into section 2, which covers enterprise clusters. What the blueprint does here is super smart. It categorizes businesses into distinct clusters. Think agriculture and agro-processing, transport and logistics, or creative and digital services. This is absolutely crucial because it forces you to clearly define your specific opportunity within a much larger industry. Like, what exact problem are you solving? And right here, this is the fun part. This is where you officially name your business. You're basically putting your flag in the ground.
Moving right along to phase 2, the market.
Look, even the absolute most brilliant idea in the world is totally meaningless if you don't have paying customers, period. That's exactly why you need to map your customers' actual pain points, what they literally told you they struggle with, directly to your unique solution. You're making a direct match between a real-world problem and your tailored answer. Not what you assume they need, but what they actually told you. It completely demystifies the whole idea of customer validation.
So the rubber really meets the road right here at the customer validation checkpoint. The blueprint is going to ask you point blank, have you actually spoken to potential customers? Was it just 1 to 5 people, or did you talk to over 20? Who specifically are your target customers, and why on earth should they choose you over the competition? You can't just guess this stuff from behind a desk. You've got to physically get out there and talk to your target market. You're gathering the critical data needed to prove, for sure, that your service solves a real problem.
Okay, let's shift gears to phase 3, the engine.
So once you've got a validated market, we can get right into the pure mechanics of the business. Let's look at the absolute lifeblood of that engine, your revenue streams. How is the business actually going to make money? Are we talking direct product sales or service charges? Maybe you'll secure contracts, rent out equipment, or rely on commissions and subscriptions. Detailing these diverse streams is exactly how you translate those raw skills of yours into actual, structured, and predictable revenue.
Which brings us to a number you simply cannot ignore, your estimated monthly profit. This is a stark reminder of your ultimate financial goal. Look, you can't just focus on the money rolling in, you have to subtract your estimated monthly expenses from your revenue to project real, tangible profit in Naira. You know the old saying, right? Revenue is vanity, but profit is sanity. If this final number doesn't work out, the engine is just not going to run.
And hey, every running engine needs reliable parts. That's where the equipment and resources plan comes in. As an entrepreneur, you've got to list out all your required items, define what each one actually does, and provide estimated costs. But here's the kicker, the real test. You have to explicitly justify why this equipment is important to your business. You literally have to prove why those specific resources are absolutely critical for your operation to survive and thrive.
To keep that engine roaring forward, you're going to need a solid marketing strategy and clear 12-month goals. How are you going to build awareness? You have to identify the specific channels you'll use. Are you going heavy on WhatsApp, blowing up on TikTok, running Facebook ads, or maybe leveraging local community associations? This strategy is the exact playbook that will allow you to hit your target customer numbers and crush your 12-month annual revenue goals.
And finally, we arrive at phase 4, the destination. Okay, so your foundation is rock solid and your engine is built. Now, It's time to prove you're ready for outside investment using the Funding Readiness Checklist. This is where things get really real. I absolutely love this part because it empowers you to visually tick off each operational requirement. Got existing customers and revenue? Check. Got your business records and a dedicated business bank account sorted out? Check. How about a social media presence and an equipment growth plan? Walking through this vital list just proves you're organized, you're serious, and you're fundamentally ready to secure the funding you're going after.
But keep in mind, successful funding isn't just about lining your own pockets. It's really about the bigger picture. The blueprint requires a strong community impact focus. You need to estimate the positive ripple effects your business is going to have. Are you going to drive job creation and youth empowerment? What about women empowerment and boosting local economic growth? You have to define the estimated annual jobs you'll create and the number of people you'll serve. It shows that when you succeed, your whole community elevates with you.
To tie this whole shebang together, the blueprint introduces your 90-day activation plan. This is just brilliant. Instead of leaving your final planning as some distant, hazy, someday dream, it frames it as a structured countdown. It literally turns your theoretical goals into an urgent, highly actionable timeline.
Here's how that sequence actually breaks down. At 30 days, you're launching your foundations and aligning your goals. By 60 days, you're building momentum and refining your offerings based on real-world feedback. And then, at that magical 90-day mark, you activate, scale, and secure your funding readiness. It visually propels you right toward officially launching your enterprise in a tight, focused 3-month window.
So, what happens after those 90 days? Well, that brings us to the TripleE pathway. This looks at the specific ecosystem pathways available to you once you activate, whether that means joining the NELPRC professional pathway, getting into cooperative development, or jumping into a business mentorship program. It just goes to show how the entire ecosystem offers you continued mentorship and growth way beyond your initial blueprint submission.
And it all culminates right here, the number 100. The official assessment scorecard evaluates all the components we just walked through across 10 distinct areas, basically gamifying your entire submission out of a perfect score of 100 points. Everything from your opportunity clarity and business model all the way to your growth potential and community impact is weighted to determine your certification and your funding readiness. Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question for you. What will your score be, and are you ready to activate your enterprise today? We've walked through the foundation, we've validated the market, we've built the engine, and we've mapped out the destination. The blueprint is right there in your hands. So take what you've learned in this explainer and ask yourself, what is the one raw skill you are going to turn into a structured reality today? Go out there and start building.